playing at Echostage. That's always been like the goal since, getting booked at Soundcheck. And yeah, so, well, before, like, I was just cooking up just for like the love of
Yeah.
cooking up. And I was just making a bunch of different tracks, just, experimenting with different stuff. And I feel like now I'm a lot more kind of intentional with
Yeah.
how I'm, making music now. Like I, try to figure out a vibe as I'm making it. And I'm kind of just taking my time with a lot more tracks.
Hey, what's good, my friends? Thanks so much for checking out the Open Decks podcast. This week's special episode in support of our friend Miracletek before he makes his debut at Echostage Friday, May 22nd. He's going to be opening up for Diplo, also on the line of Halang from New York City. It's going to be an incredible night for music. If you're in the DC area, please do check it out. Our conversation, while we do talk a little bit about the event, we also talked about what he's been up to for the last year in terms of production, performance, and everything in between. Hope you enjoy this conversation with Miracletek. Thanks again for stopping by. Yeah, let's do it, man. What's good?
A lot has happened since the last time that I was on here, for sure.
It's been like exactly a year since we talked. I mean, we've talked since then, but
even in just the past year, like a lot has changed. Playing at Echostage, that's always been like the goal since, getting booked at Soundcheck and playing those shows. I was talking with them for a long time about Diplo coming up, because I used to listen to Bro like on the school bus in like 2015 when he had that album with Skrillex. And that's when I was like kind of getting into DJing. My dad got me like my first like little deck, and I would like watch the sets on YouTube, and I would find all the songs and I would like download them, and I would try to play the set as it was on the on YouTube. And that's how I like kind of taught myself. And it was, listening to Diplo and Martin Garrix and, all the people like back then. So it's like, it's pretty full circle to be able to like,
moment.
to be able to open for him, especially like my first time at Echo, being able to open for, for someone like that.
Yeah, it's massive. I mean, he transcends like pop, electronic, like writes
even does like country now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's transcendent as a figure in music more broadly than just electronic. So congrats, man. That's
thank you, bro.
That's huge. I know you talked about it the last time that we talked, and I'm sure you've been working your ass off to make it happen one way or another. And it's we talked about you to our friends, like we talked with you obviously over the last year or so, year plus, and from all that we've seen, like we see it in you, man. You're a true pro. Like, you're producing great music.
Thank you, bro.
Like, you're surrounding yourself with great DJs, and like, you're finding things that work and that are packing the place, and you're finding things that are experimental and trying to figure it out. And yeah, it's a testament to your skill, your work ethic, all the above, man. Congrats.
Thank you. Yeah, it's I think the last time that I was on the podcast, I don't even think I had played at Soundcheck yet. And
I'm right before that, yeah.
I'm also grateful to be able to play there before, it closed down, because that's a spot that, that I wanted to play at on top of, Echo, and just all the opportunities I've been able to get, like, this past year. It's been, it's been great.
What's it like going about, you and your team putting yourself in a position to like be top of mind for Echostage when they're finding somebody to open for Diplo? I'm sure you're not the only one who wants that, right? Like, it's a very desirable.
Yeah.
set.
So, well, I actually sent them Logan. I'm not sure if you've met him. Logan is like, he's like the the man over there. He hires everybody. But I had reached out to him couple months ago, and sent him a good length email, expressing how much it would mean to me, opening for Diplo. Told him, my history, listening to his music and everything. And he was like, "Yeah, I dig it, man. Like, let's see if we can make that work." I didn't hear much, and then he hit me up and asked me to send him a mix so he could send it in, and I sent him the mix. And then a couple days after that, he had, hit me back and said, like, let's go for it.
Yeah.
So it was crazy. But he had told me, he was like, yeah, we got to push for this one because a lot of people were fighting for this one. So on top of that, I'm super honored to be able to be the one that's, opening for him.
Yeah. You earned it, man. And it's going to be,
thank you, bro.
It's going to be a good, set. How much time you got? You got 90 minutes? You got longer?
I got like an hour 15. Okay. And then it's, 2:30 to close. So, that could be 3:15, whatever it may be. I'm going to ask Diplo if he would be down for a little back-to-back.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to have to.
Got to shoot your shot, man, of course.
I'm going to have to go up there, and that would be actually insane. But, hopefully. But, yeah, so it was the same thing with Soundcheck, with the closing sets, depending on, how the crowd was, that, it's just, determining your time on that last set.
Have you been to Diplo shows before?
I actually have not. No.
Yeah. Never caught him at a festival or anything like any other lineup?
No, I didn't. So like I'm gonna be honest, like I didn't even go to a lot of the shows like until a few years ago. I just kind of stayed at home, worked on music. Like, I wasn't really like going out much. I was just kind of, doing my thing at home. But I haven't been able to catch him live like that.
Yeah.
So that, that's also going to be, dope. We're going to try to get a section so we can, watch him from up there, in between sets.
Yeah. That's going to be good, man. Echostage is just such a great venue. It keeps getting better. And yeah, I mean, I can't go quite as much as I used to, but
yeah,
I don't go that often. But it's still world class. Still bringing in top global performers. And the experience is just amazing.
Yeah,
man.
no, they have been getting a lot of crazy acts in there. My first time going to Echostage, I saw Zed's Dead. It was so good.
Yeah,
like I was listening to them back in like 2012. So like being able to see them live there was insane.
Yeah, it's a special place, man. I mean, it's been probably 15-ish years it's been around now. So like, it's like maybe I don't know, it's somewhere in there. Yeah, it's definitely like stood, as I've said on this before, like it's standing the test of time, right? Like tastes change and music changes like season to season or whatever, but they seem to keep coming back. And I've always appreciated the level of professionalism from the entire venue staff there. Like in addition to the experience, they are world class.
Even at Soundcheck, like the security staff, the bar staff, like everybody there is always super friendly, super welcoming. They make you feel welcomed when you come in there. Making sure you have everything you need. Asking if you need a drink. Like it's little things like that you pick up. At venues that really like make you want to come back and make you want to keep playing there for real.
Yeah. As you've gotten closer from the time you sent in the mix to kind of get this kicked off until, now a few days before the event, like how are you feeling about what you presented as the mix that represents you versus like, what am I going to do when I get on stage?
So, I mean, it's hard, playing at a place like Echostage. You'd think that you'd want to like, prep a set, know exactly what you're going to play and play this. And to be honest, like, I don't really do that. Like, for this show, I'm building just like a crate with like 150, 200 songs in it that I can just filter through, feel the room. And then I also have a separate crate for the closing set. There's a little bit more harder stuff, bass heavy stuff, stuff that I'm not going to play in the opening set. But what I do primarily is I take a lot of time, like actually just like analyzing all the music that I save in Record Box, and I actually like I make cue points in the song, in different areas where I would think that I would want to skip to or go to in a quick moment. So I'll actually do that with like all the songs on my USB. So if I build like a crate with like 200 songs, you know, I can pull in any song that I have in that crate, and you know, I could skip to a part that I know might be good in one section, and that's just kind of like how I've been moving forward from, you know, just a year ago. I was, you know, it was a lot different. You know, I was like actually like, you know, planning out my sets, you know, planning out what I wanted to play, but now it's just, it's more exciting too when you're just like in the moment like that, you know, picking songs rather than just like knowing what you're going to play.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you feel any of the, like, do you feel any, or is like the pressure of like the opening DJ versus like, I'm a guy who wants to play my stuff. Like, are you feeling that, whether from outside or on yourself? Are you feeling that right now?
So yeah, I mean, this is the topic of discussion for a lot of people, bro. And you know, my standpoint, it's hard for me to say this because, you know, being the opening DJ, I don't really have much say in it, but like, you know, a person like Diplo, you know, shouldn't worry about what like the opener is playing because they've been in this game for so long. They've been able to do these things, play these big shows for all these people. And like, why wouldn't the, you know, opener be able to, you know, not necessarily go like too crazy, play like super fast BPM and never play like the headliner's music, you know, of course.
But I would think you want to like showcase some of your authentic self in addition to kind of I mean, again, like you're a guy who knows, like, you understand the assignment, but I think you also understand where I mean, I've seen you play a few times. Like,
I mean, and you know, I won't name names, but you know, I've played at venues before where, you know, they kind of said that I went a little too hard for our opening set, and you know, I told them, I'm like, well, I'm playing my music, so you know, what, am I not allowed to play my music? You know, and the, you know, the crowd was loving it, and you know, there's a fine line, I think, in that question where, you know, you could just play like, you know, if you're an opener and you're just playing all of like the top dance songs that are popping right now, that are just like, you know, all the DJs are playing, that's a little crazy to play as an opening set because, you know, you're building up all the energy way too early. But I spent hours looking for music from new artists, like underground artists, artists that are, you know, I love looking on SoundCloud and finding like a track that has like 800 plays, 1,000 plays, you know, 10 likes. And some of these songs are incredible. And, you know, I'm at that level too. You know, I don't have, you know, thousands and thousands of, you know, plays on my tracks yet. You know, it's getting there. A couple of my tracks are getting there, but I love finding these tracks that I know other DJs aren't really playing. No one really knows. And, you know, it's just, I think that's the biggest thing too, is it's not really just playing the headliner's music. Obviously they're not playing all of their own music. So like I've played shows before where I have gotten a list of songs where, you know, they're like, do not play these songs, like, cause the headliner wants to play those songs. So that's why I try to find songs that are not gonna ever, you know, have that conflict. And it allows my set to sound fresh and not sound like other DJs. And also I just, you know, I spend probably 90% of my time just like something with music. Like I just love music so much. So it's like, you know.
So you've played at places in DC that are known for kind of your generation of electronic music in the city, right? You played some of the better. I
think I've pretty much done them all, except for the new one, Transmission. I haven't really played there yet, but like done Zebby's. We did Ballroom, Soundcheck. I'm gonna do Echostage. I haven't played at Flash. Okay, but I played at Vera.
That's got to change too.
Yeah,
that's a great room.
I got to play at Flash. I want to play either club level or, you know, or the Roof. The Roof is awesome too. But my first time going to Flash, I saw, you know, Kahan 9 before 9. I saw him at Flash, and
We met at your show at Soundcheck. I've met him that night.
Oh yeah. No, his set at Flash was incredible. I mean, like it was just the no phones vibe in there.
Yeah.
It's super dark. They have the LEDs on the walls. It just like really has that club feel, and I love the design they have behind the booth. It was a great night going there. And then, I've been to the rooftop, and the rooftop is nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would love to get the opportunity to play there. And I want to do the Eaton Radio too.
It's
on the bucket list.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's a fun spot to like chill out. Like you're playing for the sidewalk, but if you get the right time of day, especially like if you get like a sunset time, like people are leaving work, it's a cool vibe just to.
I mean, yeah, because I could do like multiple. I could probably do like 2-3 hours on there for real.
Yeah, it's fun. But you're so back to Echostage for a second. So is it just you? It's just the two of you on the lineup?
No, there's another. She makes like kind of faster tempo house music.
Yeah,
it's pretty good. But she has like I think like 10,000, 15,000 followers.
Okay.
So when I saw that, I thought that she was like maybe on tour with Diplo, but she's not. She's got her own little thing going on.
So at some point,
she's from New York.
She's from New York. Okay. So at some point in this night, you're gonna be wrapping up your set, and then you're coming back later, like after Diplo. So there's going to be people there that don't know you.
Yeah.
Right? It's going to be one of those where like it's like you played some of the, again, we talked about the big rooms in DC where a lot of people, even if they don't know you, like they know you now, of course.
Yeah.
And they kind of knew going into it, like, oh, like I would assume, like seeing where you played and fits the vibe. But like now you're going to play for maybe people you don't.
That's always like
it's a
scary
discovery moment, right? Yeah.
It's always really scary. I mean, even when I'm going to be 10 years in this, game and I'm playing, these massive shows, I still feel like it's going to be, just as, nerve wracking. But the first time I ever like really experienced that is when I opened for Wookie at Soundcheck. Yeah. That was actually on my birthday, which was a crazy show. I had talked to Logan about that. I'd submitted a mix for that, and that was actually a contest. So like in order to play that show, you had to submit a mix for the contest, and I actually won. And it just so happened to be my birthday, so that was like super fun. But that was my first direct support show, so I was able to actually not play doors. I went on, with a full crowd, and they were loving it. I mean, when I first went up there, to be honest, like I didn't even really pay attention to the crowd. I just kind of like the first couple songs, I was really kind of just locking in on the CDJs. And it's always nerve-wracking though when you walk out there and there's like, a room full of kids just just blankly staring at you. Zebby's Garden is actually like is kind of like that. When you're playing at Zebby's, you're like 3 feet away from the people in front of you. Yeah. Sometimes there'll just be people that are so hammered, like in the front row. They're not even dancing. They're just blankly staring at you, like. And that's always so funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, with Soundcheck, that was the first time I experienced that, and obviously, Echostage is gonna be it's a 3,000 person capacity building.
Well, now you've got the different vantage point, right, where you're 30 feet away from everybody, right? Because you're gonna be like on stage, separated.
Yeah, but, I've never even been like on the stage. Yeah. I know some of like the 360 sets, they allow some of the people to stand on the stage, but like I haven't been able to actually see kind of what it's like.
Yeah,
I've just seen like some of my homies playing there, watch their videos. I'm gonna probably go in there for a sound check, and I'll feel it out. But yeah, it's exciting. I mean, also playing like doors at a place like Soundcheck compared to a place like Echostage, it's like you play doors at Soundcheck and you usually don't see people really filling out till like 11:30, and at Echostage, it's not really like
Yeah,
that.
and even then, it takes 1,000 people to feel like it's starting to fill out, right? Like
Yeah.
it's a big
So
room.
like, you know, when a bunch of people come early to Echostage, like you just said, that's still probably 800 people. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's still a lot of people. It's not max capacity, but it's a lot of people, and it's been a little nerve-wracking, but it's, you know, it's also just exciting.
Yeah.
You know, like I worked for this moment, so it's just so cool seeing it all come together.
Well, I know like some of my favorites over the years that I've discovered at Echostage have been the like direct support and openers. And if you had to, you know, if someone who's listening to this in anticipation of the show but doesn't know you that well, like give us a reason why showing up early is a must this Friday.
So, you know, kind of backtracking to what I said earlier, like I love finding like kind of unheard music, unreleased music. You know, I get a lot of unreleased music from big artists, from local artists, and I like finding new music. So, you know, I like to picture my sets more of like when people come to my sets, they're kind of coming to listen to like, you know, my taste and what I have, and, you know, the music that I'm, you know, liking in that moment of time. But, you know, yeah, with that being said, like I love playing new music, and I love like building, you know, an experience with the crowd. This is going to be the biggest crowd. Well, you know, I played in Chicago, and, you know, those were probably 300, 400 people at those after parties, but, you know, nothing to what, you know, Echostage is going to be. So super excited to see how I'm going to work that crowd.
Yeah. Well, you've got some unique, from my perspective, influences that come through in your music, right? Like the hip hop influences, like, you know, you talked about some of the big room stuff like Martin Garrix and some of the other stuff that you've played in the past. But I think you also have captured the sound of kind of the, you know, I don't know, the 26 years, right? 25, 26. Like I feel like you've captured the sound that's really kind of taken over in DC, but you've done it in a way that's tasteful and unique, because I think you layer in different vocals. You layer in some different bass line, like you're got some garage influences. Like you just got a lot of different influences, but it feels very well curated. It doesn't feel forced. And I always like that about your sets, your SoundCloud set, your live sets. Nothing feels forced, feels very natural, but there's a lot of different influences in there.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of those sets, like my radio sets, I just film at home, and it's just, you know, those sets are like kind of just highlighting some of the like the best songs that I'm listening to in that, you know, in that week maybe, or that month. Some of them I'll make longer, some of them I'll make shorter. But like, yeah, like the sets, I try to just like play all of, you know, my favorite songs that I'm liking that week.
Yeah. So outside of the big event coming up Friday, you've been producing your own music, you've been putting stuff out, like kind of seen since the last time we talked on the podcast. Gosh, probably 3 or 4 that I've seen and kind of latched onto. Yeah. Are you trying to keep that pace? Are you trying to accelerate? Like how do you feel about kind of putting out once a month, like music out once a month?
So I mean, it's sometimes,
because last time you said you have a hard time not putting music out. I remember this. You said, I want to make music and put it out there as soon as possible.
So I did have that mindset before, and now I've kind of just taken a little slower approach to it, where I can kind of take more time with the songs. But like I just cooked up a track the other day that I cooked up like just in that day, and I've been sending it to labels, and I actually got, you know, Chris Lorenzo to play it at AI Warehouse. And he was loving it too. So
do you know that was coming? Like,
so like, yeah, like I have homies that were working for the event, and, you know, they had told me to, you know, prep a USB. So I prepped a USB. I just put the new track on there. When I pulled up, there wasn't that many people there because he was playing an open to close set. So we pulled up early. I got to, you know, talk to him. there wasn't that, barely anybody there. I'd slipped him the USB and he was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna play it. He played it, and it was a crazy feeling.
Yeah.
Hearing him being like someone that I look up to and like that I am inspired by, like, to play my music is pretty cool.
Who else are your influences now?
I really like Max Styler.
Yeah.
I like the Dean cousins, Max and Luke Dean. Josh Baker. Sosa. I just saw Sosa at AI Warehouse. That show was crazy. Beltran. I just like kind of that experimental, bassy, house. And I like a lot of like the UK, I'm influenced a lot by like the UK sound of tech house and garage, like, people like Rorden and even like Silva Bumpa, they're making like, UKG tracks that are like 133. So it's, a lot more along the lines of house music rather than it being, like UKG where it's 140, 145. And I just like a lot of that like influence, and I'm trying to put, a lot of that into my music, yet trying to keep it, true to, my sound and, here. So kind of blending what I have here with influences from the UK and, getting what I have right now.
Yeah. Have you been over to the UK?
I haven't been able to make it over there yet. I actually haven't left the country.
Yeah.
So
Soon on somebody.
Soon.
It's going to happen. Yeah.
But yeah, I've stayed local, but been able to like, go around, play in New York with you, play in Chicago. I need to get down to Florida though, and play in Miami.
Yeah.
That would be dope. But like, yeah, just a lot of the sound that I'm moving towards is more of like that groovy, just like club feel house.
Yeah. So what took you to that? Like you described it, the groovy club.
Just
house.
like, just like going to shows and just like, people that I'm influenced by, and just see like, I don't know, it's just seeing the vibe at those shows is just really, what I see myself doing. And it's much better to hear like that type of music inside of the club rather than like just a lot of like the tech house, kind of just like charting songs that are out now, because it kind of gives it more of that like 90s feel, 90s club, especially a lot of these shows now are becoming like no phone clubs.
Yeah.
So, you go in there, no one's on their phone, everyone's just dancing to the music, and a lot of the UK our tracks are inspired by a lot of like the 90s tracks. So they'll sample 90s R&B, 90s rap, put it in their tracks, and it kind of just it builds like such a cool vibe in the club.
Yeah. Did you? I mean, you talked about how your influences is what, as far as what you like, kind of brought you to a place where that's what you're playing and that's similar to what you're producing. Was it intentional? Was there something that wasn't just clicking with what you were making a year or two ago? Or is it like, nah, just kind of, you're just going with it and letting the music take you?
Yeah. So, well, before, like, I was just cooking up just for like the love of cooking up. And I was just making a bunch of different tracks, just, experimenting with different stuff. And I feel like now I'm a lot more kind of intentional with how I'm, making music now. Like I, try to figure out a vibe as I'm making it. And I'm kind of just taking my time with a lot more tracks to get them just sounding how I want them.
So your process is more like you're more intentional about producing tracks that are good music, obviously, but also like intended to be club tracks, intended to be played out.
Yeah. So, I created a label too. I'm sure you've seen on Instagram. It's Too Much Fun Records. I've actually rebranded a lot of my stuff on SoundCloud to be kind of like more. It's more like
Yeah.
You see like this.
Yeah, I like the look. I like the look.
I did that to all of my tracks on there just so it kind of builds more of a theme, on my account, and dropping through my own label. I know it's not really much right now, but it's gonna grow, and that's just a place that I am can drop my songs and kind of have like a repetitive cover that's kind of symbolizes like it, when you see it, what it is.
Yeah, the brand, the color, like it pops, man. It looks good. Are you still finding that you are making tracks that are good tracks, good music, but not necessarily something that you're bringing to?
Yeah, I mean, I have like, I'll make like just tracks for fun sometimes that like I just have myself, or like I'll just get an idea and I want to like, see if I could turn it into a song, but I might not want to release it. Yeah, I definitely have a few of those.
Yeah, like now that you've accomplished a lot in a short period of time, and I always wonder, especially for people who are, I'm 45 years old, man. Like I don't have that timeline of different goals, but I can think back to a time when I was in my my mid 20s or whatever, and the idea of being this far along, right? Because you just started DJing like a couple years ago, right?
Like, yeah, it's really only been like 2 years with the as Miracletek, and it's crazy to see like how far I've come from like where I started.
Yeah,
and it's crazy. Like, yeah, like I started playing, what was that, at Rise, like
Ray's Pizza.
Yeah, that was like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, now I'm gonna play at Echostage. It's just crazy.
So how do you take all that success, right? Because it is a lot of success, man. Like, and if anybody's like tries to be like, oh, you're just opening, like, fuck them, right? And I don't know anybody is. You're a good dude, so I'm sure you got people in your corner. But like, it's for those of us that see it, and we're look, we're living vicariously through you, and like a lot of other DJs, like we're older dudes, like we're in it for the love of the music, and our aspirations are realistic. But we see what you guys are doing, what you're doing, and that you're a respectable dude. You go about things the right way. You treat people with respect, but it's a lot of success on the local scene. So like, how do you manage your expectations going forward? I know it's hard to answer before you've kind of gone through it. But I'm just curious.
I mean, it is hard because like I'm not even really looking at like, I try to just like look at it as just like another show.
Yeah.
Because if I think of it as like something too massive, I'm just gonna like, stress myself out or, whatever it may be. But like, yeah, in all honesty, like it's just another show. So, like I try to just like keep that mindset, when I'm doing these shows, but sometimes I do forget to just like stop and kind of like, take it in, because it did happen pretty fast, and it's like, it's just crazy to see that growth.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's not, look, I say it happened, we say like it happened fast. You've had a lot of success soon, but like by no means is this like, local overnight success. Like you've talked about how much work went into the music side of this long before you started DJing as Miracletek, and you've talked about, producing, like you used to produce kind of your own rap music, right? Like, and are you still doing any of that? Are you still putting any of that stuff out there, or just fucking around with it? Or
nah, not really anymore. I was just kind of just doing that to kind of just like prep myself or make myself better with the producer, like producing.
Yeah.
That's what got me good at like mixing and mastering, and still I record all my own vocals and everything like that. But now what I'm trying to do is like incorporate my own vocals into my tracks more.
You play any instruments?
Yeah, so actually, I've been playing the drums since I was like 2.
Yeah.
I had like a Ludwig endorsement when I was 8 from the NAMM show. So they sent me like a couple of free drum kits, and I was drumming for a while. And then when I became like 13, 14, I taught myself how to play guitar and bass. And then I taught myself how to play the piano. I've got so many guitars at home.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out a way to kind of incorporate that too into like a track of mine. But yeah, I've been playing guitar since I was like 13.
What's
14.
your collection like? What do you have?
I got like 3 Les Pauls at home. I got 2 SGs.
You like the SG? You like playing the SG?
Yeah, the SG. One of my SGs is like my favorite. It's from like 1976 or something. It plays so nice. And I got it for like super cheap. And then I have 2 Stratocasters, one that I built from scratch, and then I have 2 Telecasters, and I built one of the Telecasters as well. So like during COVID, like I got some like guitar kits.
Yeah.
And but I put like custom electronics and shit in there, and like I built like my own guitars because I was just like, I was bored as hell. But yeah, that's pretty much what I have at home. And then I live in a townhouse, so I can't set up my drum set, but I have a pretty nice drum set too. But like being a drummer first, that's what like kind of opened the door and made it easier to start like producing electronic music. Because even like still to this day, like the first thing I start with is I get the drum beat down, and then I just start layering everything else on top of it, like bass, melody, all that.
Yeah. Do you find any of the Telecaster, for example, right, has such a like warm, like deep sound to it versus like, I don't know, like the SG, which is like meant, I don't know, I mean, the way that I played it when I had one, and the guys that I played with back, that like it was meant to play like hard. It was meant to push, like really like just get into it.
Yeah, no, I mean it's definitely more of like an aggressive guitar.
Yeah.
Like you got to play it with like the heavy distortion and shit.
You can't look at that thing and not like.
Yeah, no,
right?
no, for sure. Yeah, the Telecaster's definitely better if you're playing like some clean, like you just want to get like a smooth riff off.
Yeah.
But the SG, yeah, you gotta like really, really send in it.
Yeah, my friend from high school is still in a band. He's been doing it for a long time, and I've talked about it before. I really admire him. He's in his, he's been in his 3-piece band. It's like David Bowie meets the Foo Fighters meets Nirvana meets the Stones. Like, and he's like he has an incredible collection of guitars. He played on an SG when we were in high school. And I was thinking back to like his love-hate relationship for it, because I thought it was like such a cool guitar. Like it was beautiful. And he like, I was not very good. He was incredible. I was like, I'm a senior in high school. I'm out of here. But he kept playing. But I admire people who can play multiple instruments, can write their own songs. He also sings. He fronts the band too. And but that SG, I just remember his like love-hate. I'm like, Bobby, this thing is like so cool, man. It's so nice. Like it sounds amazing. He was like, I hate it. Like, why, dude? It's amazing. But
yeah, it's a cool guitar.
Yeah.
But like especially like the one that I have, it's super old, so like it's kind of has its own like wear on it. It's worn in. It plays really nice.
Yeah. We used to mess around with some stuff. Like he had like a Jaguar, a Jagstang, like those funky like California looking like Fender guitars, and he had like Flying V, or like all the cool ones. But man, Saturnine Hello is the name of the band. Robbie 9 is my friend, and I believe the other 2 guys in the band, last I checked, still the same 3 guys have been doing it for almost 20 years now. And anyways, that's a diversion from the conversation at hand. But the guitar collection got me reminiscent a little bit about the nasty
my
90s.
dad has a huge guitar collection. He's got like probably over 100 guitars. Like he's got so many guitars, and he's a singer. He doesn't even like really play guitar. He just like likes guitars.
Yeah.
So like I've been around so many instruments like just my whole life. It's been crazy.
Yeah. That's wild, man. We talked about Echostage, kind of where you're at with your pace of producing music now. Like fast forward to like, so now it seems like an annual event for us to sit down and talk. Like fast forward a year from now, like what do you want to look back on, and what do you think your successes will be next year at this time, and like what do you want to look back on and say like, damn, I wish I had more time for that?
I do pretty good at like managing everything.
Yeah.
So that's pretty good. I think one thing that I could look back at is just like this is going to be the first time I'm playing like, in a full room as big as Echostage, like with a full setup. And then, closing
Yeah.
for Diplo, I'm going to be able to use the lasers and everything. So kind of using the club to its capacity it's going to be like just a pretty sick experience.
Yeah.
And I think like that, just being like the first time and just opening the door to, what's next,
Yeah. What do you want to happen next? Take a day off.
I want to
man.
I want to play some more festivals and definitely play some more shows like out of the city. Like North Carolina, South Carolina, down in Florida. I just kind of want to be able to visit these other places and, play my music.
Is your pace of production is what it is, but like are you trying to are you and your team working on events for like the summer and fall now? I mean, what's your
Yeah. So we're booking stuff for summer now and figuring all that stuff out, and honestly booking stuff till like the end of the year.
Yeah.
But as stuff comes up and we see it necessary, then we reach out.
Yeah. What's a good like I know there's probably the aspiration like, yes, I want to headline Echostage, but like now that you've played played a lot of these venues in DC, like the return I think a lot of times is from me, like just as someone who enjoys the music, like seeing someone for the first time has a completely different meaning than like the second time. So are there places that you like really want to get back to, or places that you're like, nah, I'd rather cycle through a bunch of other places I haven't been before I go back and play? Because you did Vera, right?
Yeah. So I did Vera back in September. Especially like playing at Echo, I definitely want to like, look at more festival bookings and things of that nature, and just artists that that I fuck with that are coming to the East Coast, and just seeing if I could be able to open for them, and just kind of just get my foot in the door.
Yeah. You got anything else coming up with our friend Ticho? Are you guys just kind of taking one thing at a time?
I don't think we have anything going on right now, but we're definitely working on something. We're also working on some music together.
I was gonna ask if you guys are
Yeah, so we're gonna be dropping some stuff that we worked on together for sure pretty soon.
Another good one, man. Like you guys, you're two of the good ones. Like he's got good music.
He's great.
Yeah.
He's great. He's like, whenever we do back-to-back sets, it's like we don't even like prep them in advance. We just know exactly like the mood, the vibe that we're going for. We kind of just read each other's energy really well.
Yeah.
I think he's working on a couple remixes right now. But yeah, he's getting back into the lab right now.
Yeah, you guys got really good energy together. That was fun. That was fun when we got to do that back in Snowcrete January this year. Yeah, it's good to see you guys doing well. Like it's good to see you doing well individually, and I mean, I'm sure you guys will kind of like continue to do your thing, but it's good to see you doing well on your own. Obviously, he's got his own thing, and I'm excited. I unfortunately I'm out of town, so I can't make it on Friday.
No worries, bro. No worries.
But,
it's definitely gonna be filmed.
Yeah, it's not gonna be the last time. I mean, no doubt about it. No doubt about it.
Not.
Yeah, but so summer festivals. Anything? Any new music coming out that you want to talk about? Anything you got specifically? Or are you just kind of working on things one at a time?
Yeah, so I got a new track called "Move On" that I'm gonna be releasing pretty soon. Don't have like a release date quite yet, but I'm definitely gonna drop it at Echostage. Kind of test it out. I'm kind of just testing the waters with it. It's the one that I actually gave to Chris Lorenzo as well. So, hopefully he'll play it more, and I'm gonna try to get get a little bit of attention on it first and then drop it. But that's probably the next one that I have coming up right now.
Yeah. What's your process like going about getting the word out for new music? Obviously social, obviously SoundCloud, but what's your process to make sure that it stays? You talked about branding, but like
I mean, really nowadays it's like filming TikToks.
Yeah.
Like making TikToks, making edits like with the music, putting it on TikTok so then you can, reuse the sound. Sometimes other people will make their own video with the sound and it just kind of can go viral that way. But, that's kind of just how today's kind of social media is now. You kind of got to be your own, like everything, when it comes to the music now. And then with Instagram, I just will, drop some teasers. I'll have people swipe up and ask about it. But that's pretty much the process I have right now. But I'm trying to get more on like a strict process where I'm dropping like, at, certain times.
Well, at some point, this, not only the performance, but the production goes from like, I think there's always the hustle, right? You're always in charge of your own promotion. You're always like, working to put yourself out there to make sure you get the right events, to make sure that your music gets out. At some point that flips to like inbound, right? You become in demand, if you will. Like, are you getting any of that right now? Are you getting some of the demand from, other promoters, other cities, other venues where it's like, hey, when can we get you back? Like,
yeah, I mean, I'm talking to a few of other places that I've played at in the past, and I'm also talking to a few new places, especially like in New York, that I haven't played at yet. But yeah, I mean, the people that that hear the new stuff, like it's been going pretty good.
Yeah,
that way.
Yeah. I think, I mean, it's got to be rewarding when like your circle grows, right? Like your team grows, your supporters grow locally, and then you start to find people that you don't know. Like you see, and even around here, like you might not know everybody at Zebby's or at Vera or AI Warehouse, but you see a lot of the same faces in the crowd, right? Like
dude, I run into people like all over the place now that I just meet at all these different events. It's crazy.
Yeah, and now you're about to flip to like, I don't recognize a lot of these people. That's got to be pretty exhilarating, right? Like,
I mean, it's not even really like that. It's just I think it's a lot of doubt that I got in the past and just like negativity from people. It's just kind of, it feels good to be able to like break through all that and like still get to where I've wanted to be at. So it's well,
talk about some of the like the hurdles, the negativity, and I mean, you don't have to name names and like this isn't therapy, but I'm curious. Like you've probably heard, like we've all heard some version of it, right? Like we've all heard like the bullshit.
I mean, I've had people tell me that like sometimes I went too hard on the opening set and this or that, or or a lot of people like just didn't think that I was able to be able to do this, and like really like. I do have a team that's working with me, and it's it's good to have that, but it's really just like it's a really small circle, and we're doing this with like not that many people. A lot of these people have like their own groups or their own like kind of they have like groups of people that they'll run these events with, and it's just like me. For me, it's just me. So like I'm kind of just like doing everything myself and just trying to stay on top of everything. Yeah.
You ever get any like pressure or any, I mean, maybe not pressure, but you get asked to like to join into those things? Like, to me, you've always kind of seemed like, I'll just kind of keep doing my own thing.
Yeah, no, I haven't really, and I wouldn't, if asked. That's just not what I want to do. I kind of just have my own vision, and I'm fortunate enough to be able to, be going in the right direction for that vision. So I just, sticking to what I'm doing.
Yeah. You're you got any other podcasts or anybody else you're talking to?
No, nothing else right now.
Getting prepped for this conversation, I was thinking about like, well, we talked last year, like it's the first time we've kind of done a repeat. Like, what do we, what should we talk about aside from the event? And we kind of touched on a lot of things that like Will Clark and like, Nick Fanchuli, Chris Avantgarde, like a lot of these people have been doing this for a while, talked about, which is like, playing on new gear, playing new stages, right? Like breaking out from producer to performer, or vice versa, where like, 2 decades ago, 3 decades ago, it's much more of a selector's game. And now it's more of a more producer driven, right?
Yeah.
It has to benefit you, right? To be more in a producer dominated.
I mean, because the promoters are just getting tired. I mean, like, a lot of the DJs are kind of just all playing the same thing. I mean, the DJs that are like not producing their own music, and that's fine. I mean, like, they can have their own lane, but it's, it's kind of narrowing down because a lot of these people are just playing the same music and not everybody wants to hear that. So I think like even if you don't make your own music, like, you can still take the time to find new music, find underground music, find like music that no one's playing, and put it into your set to stand out from everybody else, because it is like a really saturated, game now.
Yeah, and you kind of said it earlier too. Like, you could very well take, I don't know, 8, 10, 12 tracks of yours that you really like. Those become the cornerstones in your set, and then you find another 8, 10, 12 or whatever if you're playing an hour or two that sound familiar. But it sounds like you're doing more digging, which I appreciate, because I enjoy the hunt as much as any of it, right? Like,
I mean, because if you're just playing if you're playing everything that everyone else is playing, like, you're not really gonna stand out anywhere.
Yeah.
So, I want to kind of make a difference and make people hear new sounds that they haven't already heard or that they're not expecting, and some of those even sampling songs that are familiar and songs that they do know. And it kind of just like, even if you've never heard the song, you hear that one sample and you're like, they're dancing, they're moving, because it's like, it's nostalgic. It's like an old sample. It's just, that feeling is the best.
Yeah. Do you have any, I mean, like we talked about the 90s, do you have stuff that's like as old as like the 70s, 80s? Like, do you have some earlier stuff? Like,
I try to like, I spent hours just listening to old music. Like, I surf through YouTube and I listen to just like bootleg remixes, old remixes, like old songs, like R&B, jazz, hip hop, like all that stuff. And I listen to these tracks and I find parts that, might sound good to sample. Sometimes there's like a melody or even like drum sounds that I'll like to sample from these old songs. And I spend most of my time actually doing that. I'll make loops and I'll make samples. I'll make loops out of samples that I sampled from a track, and then like I'll chop it up into like 4 sections and I'll just like rearrange it, and I'll just like kind of make my own melody out of an existing melody. I love doing stuff like that. And it's like keeping it organic but still fresh. I love doing that.
Yeah, I think it takes a special kind of ear to find it, because you hear the samples, and then they're like, you can take them and just replicate them, right? Or you can take them and, like you're saying, like you can put them with other samples and you can change them every which way. And like, I think that like the former is lazy, but I think that's the more innovative part, which is like, to me more exciting and just every bit as artistic as, creating something from scratch.
Yeah, because like you're taking organic parts from an existing song and just crafting them into something new. It's just like, it's a way more rewarding feeling.
Yeah.
Because you're kind of just like, I feel like that's like actually creating something, when you're like, I've been working on a track recently that like, I've just been working on like 8 or 16 bars of like the drop. And I've just been like perfecting the drop, and then like we'll craft the rest of the song around it.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's just how it is now. I try to find like moments in tracks that I can like drop in certain moments to kind of just like add more of a suspense rather than like it just going back and forth.
Yeah. Are you trying to build more tension within the track itself, or does your tension come more from like the performance?
I mean, I like blending tracks together. Sometimes I like taking the beat from one track and like the melody from another track and just layering them on top of each other.
Yeah.
That always works. And, I just like doing stuff like that.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. We're coming up on 58 minutes, almost an hour. So we'll get you out of here. Appreciate you coming down and do this, man. This was,
bro,
it was good to catch up.
Of course, it was fun, bro.
Yeah.
I definitely wanted to do another one after the first one.
Yeah.
So that's dope to be back.
Yeah. Step up. We're out of the basement and, into another basement. We're in another basement. But no, this has been good, man. I appreciate you coming down to talk. We will, we'll see you Friday at Echostage, And then from there, man, it's just off to the races. So good for you.
Bro,
Congratulations.
thank
And
you.
looking forward to much more. Yeah.
Thank you, bro. Yeah, it's going to be so sick. I'm super excited.
Good, man. Yeah, you're going to kill it. Appreciate it, man.
All right, bro.
Kick balls to the pack, come lighter. Mama like her, zoot on my lighter. Street fighter, call a man Ken. Done I'm 10 aliens, call a man Ben. 10, I'm 10 out of 10 with my pen. I thought the Meg was a diamond. Flipped her name, found out she a gem. I used to kick balls with a miter. Now I kick balls to the pack,